protests turned destructive in downtown Seattle tonight. Here's what we know. Since then, we have seen widespread looting. 200 members of the Washington National Guard have been called up to come into Seattle. 75 have been deployed to Seattle tonight, the other 100.
I am also taking swift and decisive action to protect our great capital, Washington, D.C. What happened in this city last night was a total disgrace. As we speak, I am dispatching thousands and thousands of heavily armed soldiers, military personnel, and law enforcement officers to stop the rioting, looting, vandalism, assaults, and the wanton destruction of property.
Hello everyone. Hey, Alfred Johnson coming at you here for a series of conversations leading up to the election. This is a very critical time that we're in, and the information that I'm going to be delivering to you, I believe, is of immense importance. I really am wanting to specifically address my race in particular, and the Hispanics, the brown and the blacks among us. Very critical information that I'm going to be wanting to give you. I'm very happy to be able to talk to you. Now we're going to be addressing things, some of which are going to be very controversial, some things that you're going to disagree with. And I know that there are going to be certain people out there that I would never be able to convince no matter what. It just happens to be that you actually believe everything you're being taught in the media, and you were groomed a certain way, and there's nothing I'm going to be able to do for you, whether you're a Christian or not. It just happens to be that way. But there are going to be some among you who are just wanting somebody to just come up and just talk to us, just talk. And that's where I'm coming to you right now. I'm not representing any organization. I do represent my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I will not deny that at all. I'm coming from a kingdom perspective, and I have no apologies for that. But I'm also coming as just a human. I'm not going to be using a prompter. I'm speaking to you directly from my heart and from experience. Been married for 31 years. I have 6 kids. I'm a very happy man. God has done great things in my life, but I've been able to serve the community for most of my years. So I'm able to see, I have a different perspective on the dynamics of community and family and things of that sort, and I'm going to be sharing that with you. The message that I'm going to be giving you is definitely going to be, I don't apologize for it, and I'm not going to act like I'm not leaning in one direction or another. I am in fact leaning in one direction. I'm leaning that way strongly. I'm leaning in the direction of liberty, freedom. And many of us have allowed the concept of liberty to just escape us. We've allowed it to just leave. And we don't even know what it means anymore. It's just a political word. And we've allowed it to just slip from us. Maybe in tomorrow's episode, I'll speak to you on the nature of freedom and what does that mean in terms of our relationship with the government and our relationship with our fellow man. We'll be discussing some very key things that should help you to become more informed so that you can vote according to proper principles. Folks, we are in the greatest nation on the face of the earth, and those of you who are young, especially I would even argue perhaps 30 and under, and maybe even a little older than 30, the education establishment has really done a whopper on you guys. You don't even know what you have here in the United States of America. This is the greatest there is. And what they do is they magnify the faults of our country historically. And you got to remember, the country is just people. And if you can imagine that you yourself, you have a lot of things in your own self that are remarkably bad. And if people wanted to highlight that, if they wanted to take your secrets and put them up on the screen and make them big, yeah, they can make you look like a very evil person, a very bad person, not realizing that most of those things you've made an adjustment from. You're not that kind of person, even though you've had certain experiences that you've had to fight off. America is just a collection of you, and the experience is the same. There are going to be things in our past that we're ashamed of, just like you individually are ashamed of certain things in your past. And you would prefer that people don't know it, that it stays locked up in a certain closet, that no one sees it. It just happens to be that in the United States, when you're dealing with country, you're dealing with social expressions, which means that you're not going to be able to hide it. They're going to be out in the open. And so what they do is they take those mistakes and they put it on a screen. The very thing that you wouldn't want to be done to you, they do to our nation, and they forget all the good that's being done and all the millions, even billions of lives that have been saved because of this country. They make you forget that you're listening to me right now on an electronic device that just about all of us have, including our children. The general prosperity of our country, they're going to tell you to forget it. And so I'm going to be even speaking on some of those elements later. But today I'm going to want to lay the foundation as to how many of people who would oppose my ideas, who will argue against what I'm telling you, what's going on in the society right now that has us so up in arms and so much in conflict. I remember there was this person named Yuval Harari who made this statement. The statement was that when people want to try to block ideas, they want to try to block truth. That is, they want to censor it. Harari said that censorship is no longer done by keeping things from you or keeping the truth directly from you or like that. They keep the truth from you now by flooding you with an immense amount of misinformation or irrelevant information. They flood you with it. You get it on Facebook, you get it on CNN, you get it on MSNBC. They just flood you with an immense amount of irrelevant information, misinformation, funny cat videos and things like that, until you as an individual, you're not even able to focus. They just flood you with this misinformation, irrelevant information, and just a bunch of other stories and drama that just keep you from focusing. That's how now people are able to censor the truth. That is, keep truth from coming out, keep you from actually hearing it. The other thing that happens is there's a certain psychological dynamic, and it goes like this. There is nothing, and this is from a guy named Anton Chekhov. He said, there is nothing that unites people so much as a common hatred for something. People who are wanting to manipulate your mind, they know this, and they're going to play on every form of prejudice that you have. Now you might say, I'm not prejudiced. That's because you're using the word prejudice in racial terms. You're thinking that prejudice means you're racist. No, the word prejudice, the first part of that word is pre. It means beforehand. The last part of that word is judicial or judish, and it means judgment. The word prejudice means that you're making a judgment before. Well, you're making a judgment before what? Before you've gathered all the facts, before you've gotten evidence yourself. No, I didn't say that you heard from a TV show or that you heard from Facebook and that's facts. Those are not facts. Whenever somebody else is giving you their angle of things, they're giving you information that will make you prejudicial. What you want to find out is what the hard facts are. If you don't do that, if you don't go back to sources, if you don't take your time to learn, you'll be a slave. And there are many of you that are out there right now that are functioning as slaves. Oh yeah, you're able to go all around the city of Tampa, drive your car, get on your phone, talk, holler, curse, do whatever you want to do. But you're slaves because you don't have the respect of fact and truth to go after that before you form opinions. And now you're part of a herd, you're part of a mob, and you're going to have to escape that. The only way to escape it is to demand facts, to demand them. If you don't do that, then something's going to be controlling you from the inside. Hatred or fear or lust, or you're going to be wanting things that other people have, and it's going to be manipulating your feelings. By the way, this is the reason why Christianity is flat out so awesome. And it's also the reason why Marxists and people who don't want liberty to advance, they attack Christianity. The reason is, when God gets a hold of your heart, it makes you able to stand on your own. Many of you are not able to stand on your own. You're afraid. You're looking for the comfort of the crowd to make you feel like you're validated, that you're important, and that your opinions matter. Everyone who's around you, y'all reinforce each other. your opinion actually does matter, but not when you're around a crowd that's using emotional things to make you prejudicial, to make you come to judgments without ever determining the facts. Christianity puts you in a position to where your love for your fellow man makes it so that you're not going to be willing to believe every story that's being told. You're not going to take every lie that's being spoken about one of your own fellow men. It doesn't matter whether you're talking about the president or whether you're talking about a man that's on the street. The love of God makes it so that you love people so much that you're not going to allow a false judgment. You're not going to allow misrepresentation, misinformation, irrelevant information. You're not going to allow some clip from a video that was taken from a larger context. You're not going to allow it to manipulate you, because your love demands that you get the whole story. Your love for them demands that you get all the facts before you actually form a judgment, especially a harsh judgment or a critical judgment against your fellow man. One of the 10 fundamental laws of character in the Bible is, you shall not bear false witness against your brother or against your fellow man. That means that love should motivate you to look for truth. Look for truth, not for who's making comments about the truth, but look for the truth. Look for the facts. No, not look for the news channel, not switch on CNN or MSNBC or any of them. No, look for the truth. That's all you want, especially when it comes to forming judgments with your fellow man, because when all is said and done, all we have is God and each other. And you don't want to be the kind of person who, because of hatred or because of fear or because of guilt or because of shame or because of lust or envy, you distort the image of your fellow man. You distort your inner disposition with your fellow man. And you don't want to be that way. You want to be the kind of person that's whole on the inside, whole. And you're able to make these kind of whole judgments. If not, you're going to end up being mastered. See, people who don't have control over their emotions will be mastered by someone else. Someone else will be able to tap into that trigger of your emotional hurt and pain. And they're going to be able to take from you in a way that you can't even imagine. You don't want to be a slave like that. You want to be a person of good, solid, independent thought. You're not going to be able to do that so long as, can I say the word? Sin. That is lust and fear and hatred and uncontrolled anger and resentment and a sense of being alone and the fear that's associated with that. When those things are dominating your life, you're not going to be able to come to a proper set of truths that allow you to make the kind of judgment that you're going to be needing in this time. Our nation right now is counting on you. We need for you to be people of the truth. And in order for you to do that, you're going to have to be emotionally balanced, and you're going to have to be spiritually centered. Many of you are just victims of the circumstance of your upbringing, not a family life that wasn't solid. You were already out there just hanging on the edge, and you learned that to be reality. But the fear that was associated with it, the undisciplined nature of your relationships, the inability to manage the feelings on the inside have put you in a very vulnerable position. You feel that you're strong. You feel that your ability to tell somebody off is a sign of freedom, and you're strong. And if I can beat you, if I can shoot you, you're strong. That's not strength. That's not character. And it's not necessarily good at all. Okay? So depending on your upbringing, it could be that you got some of the stuff honestly, but family, and you're my family, we cannot allow these people to make us slaves. We cannot allow them to re-enter us into a system of thought and a pattern of thinking and behavior that makes us subject to the most irrational and stupid thinking. When you have these people attacking our country, attacking their fellow man in the name of what? What country exists on the planet that you're wanting us to transform into? What exists out there that's better than the United States of America? Do you realize that some of the countries that they're trying to get you to imitate, such as the communist countries, they're not able to travel at will? You do know this. They can't go where they want to go, and I will be discussing some of this later, but is that what you want? If emotionally you are not ready to think correctly, if emotionally, mentally, spiritually, you're not grounded enough to demand, for love's sake, all of the truth, Not something that somebody's spitting at you on a song, or somebody from Hollywood or a football or basketball player is telling you, or somebody from MSNBC. No. You're going to demand the truth. And you're going to go searching for it yourself before you come to a negative accusation against your fellow man. You're going to study for your own self. And you're going to come to proper conclusions. If you don't do that, you're going to be confused. And you're going to be on the side of an enemy, and you're not going to even know it. You're going to believe that you're fighting for justice because they have triggered this emotional thing on the inside of you, and they tell you that you're about to be harmed. See, they use the unbalanced nature of your fear against you. You're about to be harmed. You're about to be damaged. They're trying to kill all of you. And they want to stoke those fires of fear because they know that if you can be caught up in all of that kind of stuff, you're toast in terms of your judgment. They can manipulate you and pull strings at will. They can make you violent. They can make you act out in ways that are absolutely inappropriate. They'll do that because of the imbalance of what's going on in you, in your soul, in your mind. Remember, they don't censor anymore by keeping information from you. They know that it's nearly impossible now. We have the internet, we have Facebook, we have all kinds of outlets now where people are giving their opinions and they're giving their judgments. Okay, we know that these things are happening and they know it's happening, so they can't keep it from you. But what they can do is what's called muddy up the waters. Give you the misinformation, give you the irrelevant information, give you some funny cat videos to distract you, give you some plays, give you some drama to distract you from the truth to where you just can't focus. Or one more time, they'll tap into an emotional element of you to trigger you and to control you by these inner devices on the inside that are mostly caused by hurt, hatred, and fear. And they will use those to lead you along, and they will borrow your beautiful voice. They will borrow your God-given talent. They will steal all of the strength that you have, your vitality. You're here on purpose. You were designed for this moment by God. They'll steal it from you in the name of your own hatred, in the name of your own fear. And they will plant in you a delusion that I have you running around and you won't even know where you're going. And I can tell you this, if you don't know where you're going to arrive at where you didn't plan. Listen to me. Get ready. Matter of fact, I call everyone who's listening to me right now to fall on your knees before the Almighty God so that you can free your soul from the chains that would bring you to false judgments and false conclusions that would make you hate your fellow man to where you're not even able to talk. You can't even communicate without causing a big argument and a big scene because you're all triggered. You got to turn back to God. You got to rethink your position, rethink your life, rethink the course of behavior that you're on that is making you a certain kind of individual. Listen, I respect you. You were made in the image of God. You have power that's way beyond what you know. And there is a spiritual enemy out there. He's called the thief. He's called the liar. And he's working in high gear right now to get your attention and to get you on a side that's going to lead to your own doom and the doom of your children and your grandchildren. We have something to pass on to our children and to our grandchildren. But if you fall on the side of hatred, fear, if you fall on the side of envy, lust, if you fall on the side of immorality, no family, you don't even know what a friend is. When you fall on that side, you are a slave and you'll be used as a slave. May God help you. May God help us all to prepare to think and live in a way that promotes liberty, that promotes life, and that promotes God's love and His kingdom on this planet. We need you. We need you. Call out to God from your heart. In the name of Jesus Christ, call out to God from your heart so that you can go ahead and experience on the inside what you have to experience to become a human that can stand on your own 2 feet without being led by some manipulator into a place that you don't really want to go. I love you. This is going to be, all the following videos are going to be on this same tenor because the times that we're living in are requiring it. This election coming up is huge, and we need you to be thoughtful before you vote. God bless you. I love you. We're going to talk to you again tomorrow.